a caretaker manager, let's be honest, that seems, if I'm being totally honest, to have lost control of what's happening in and around the changing room, on and off the pitch.
We'll see what the effects are on the pitch today. As we said, Valverde is not available as a result of that bust-up with Schwamini. He requires stitches. He also restricted for a concussion, so he's not in the squad today. As the players make their way out onto the pitch, we see Trent Alexander-Arnold and Jude Bellingham at the back end of the lineup there for Real Madrid. The first time ever we'll have 3 English players in the starting lineup for El Clasico as we hear the Barca anthem as the players come out onto the pitch. Now there's just a little indicator of what the atmosphere is like today with the wonderful mosaic. Forza Barca, the message for these players who have fallen short in the Champions League and the Copa del Rey, which will be the slight disappointment this season. But I suppose when you end up winning La Liga in convincing fashion like Barca have done, that all kind of gets forgotten about.
Yeah, I mean, it's an impressive home record this season. This stadium, I know it's got a lot to go still, but can you imagine this with another 40,000 people in now? And that top tier finished and a roof on it, it's going to be an incredible atmosphere in the stadium.
Singing the anthem a cappella as we saw both sets of players shaking hands, both managers. It was Xabi Alonso in the dugout last time the two teams met in La Liga. Real Madrid winning that one 2-1. That incident occurred once Vinicius was substituted by Xabi Alonso. Wasn't too happy about it. Many feel like that was the beginning of the end for the Basque manager, who was ultimately sacked after the second Clasico of the season when they were defeated in the Spanish Super Cup. So it is a fixture that has that added significance, can be a sliding door moments for players, managers and teams alike. Here is the lineup for Barcelona. 2 changes made from the team from last week. Joan Garcia is in goal. Joao Cancelo, Gerard Martin, Cubarsí and Eric Garcia make up the back 4.
Pueden hablar, pero con calma, tranquilidad, con buena forma, brazos abajo, sin gritarnos, con toda la calma del mundo, ¿vale? Es una parte importante también para nosotros, no se olviden de eso, ¿vale? Así que a por ellos, mucha suerte. Juegan en casa, dejamos que digan ellos, azul o dorado.
Referee asking them to be calm and also reminding that it's an important game for the referees as well. To finish on the lineup, Olmo, Gavi, Pedri, Fermi, Ferran, Rashford, Terry, Rooney and Lewandowski have been left out of the team. Ferran.
ሊጀምር ሲል ነው እንደሚያቋርጠው ይሄ ዳንስ
And Rashford come in, anything that
ያማል የለም ራፊኒያ የለም ወይኔ ጉዴ ኖ ራፊኒያ ኖ ያማል come on Barca network
Ferran there was battling away with Antonio Rudiger.
Man yaşanmışlar. Ben yaşanmışlar.
Lewandowski in that number 9 role.
Ferran.
15 goals this season in La Liga. Gonzalo. Garcia getting there for Dani Olmo. It's Brahim Diaz who's outnumbered. Gavi who's won back possession for Barca. Olmo, Ferran making the run into space. Tracked closely by Asensio. A goal kick.
Sorry, assumed it was going to be in the corner, but he was asking for a foul
Ne?
as well. I think it was barged.
Korna konusunu yapmadım.
For Garcia.
Seemed to come off of Fran Garcia, but goal kick awarded to Real Madrid. Xamini for Rudiger. Who's touched by Fran Garcia, pounced upon by Eddie Garcia. Now Brahim can turn away into space. Gonzalo to the right and Vinicius to the left. Helps to play it to the Brazilian. Vinicius, his first run of the Barca defence. It isn't the cleanest strike from the captain.
Obviously, no, for Real Madrid. Garcia did well initially. Pressing, doing that high press, but was out of position. Real Madrid were quick to counter attack. Gerard Martin was the player getting across.
Gerard Martin.
Garcia. Mercy. Gerard Martin. Once a backup left back, and now the regular starting centre half is filled in for Íñigo Martínez this season. Always find somebody from La Masia to fill in. Rashford. Now thought about the cross. Tries to play it back to Rashford, and now his cross directly out of play.
It wasn't bad at it, actually. I'm looking at the Real Madrid midfield three. Camavinga, Bellingham and Tchouameni. It's very narrow, so they're going to have to rely on Vinicius, Brahim Diaz, who are the wide players, to do some tracking, mate. So it looks like it's the boy for Real Madrid to have that narrow midfield three to try and match up against Barcelona.
Towards goal, there is that number 9 figure today of Gonzalo Garcia. The secondary ball drops to Brahim Diaz. Gets swept up by Garcia. Not only clears, but finds Fermin in space. Charles Campbell. Taken out by Camavinga. Referee allowing play to continue. Gerard Martin. Running behind Trent Alexander-Arnold from Fermin Lopez. Rashford's making a run to the back post. Tracked by Fran Garcia. There is that threat on the counter or on the break from their Barca.
Love that movement from Fermin Lopez running towards the ball. Trent Alexander-Arnold goes with him, then he turns and spins. Good awareness, understanding with his teammate. Perhaps Rashford could have sprinted to get ahead of Fran Garcia. The cross was always inevitable.
João Cancelo. His cross is cleared away by Raul Asensio. Can't imagine it's easy for this man in the image here when you're not mentally prepared to start a Clasico. You've not been playing recently either, to suddenly with half an hour left in the game to be thrown in.
Is any one of those group that's irritated with the manager that's not playing?
Yes.
Any time lately. He's got a job to do. He's played enough for Real Madrid, but it isn't easy. You're preparing for the game as a substitute, then blink of an eye, you're
Kamavinga.
Into the starting lineup.
Why?
Bellingham. Tripped by Gavi. Seems to be too impressed by that tackle from Gavi. I'm sure it won't be the last tackle that he will receive.
I'm expecting it, didn't he? Shrugged the shoulders.
Intercepted by Marcus Rashford. Looking to sprint away from Rudiger. There is Asencio. Coming across. I think that's a goal kick given by the reaction from the fans. Rashford does fantastic.
Fantastically well. The cover run does deflect off Rashford. Their bias. 60,000 bias. Barcelona supporters at the moment.
Courtois. Again, it's the long approach from him. Real Madrid won the duel with Gonzalo. That's Chouameni's turn to hack down Dani Olmo. Kubarsi. Fermin. Gavi for Dani Olmo. Garcia. Ferran. Neat turn from him.
Doris.
It's bundled over just on the edge of the box by Antonio Rudiger.
Not just for this part of the move, but prior to that, on 2 or 3 occasions, deep boy runs off the ball to allow space for a teammate to move into a position to receive the ball. It does appear, see the referee's got a decent view of it. Sure, VAR is checking it just to make sure it's not on the line or over the line. It was very close. It does represent really an opportunity to test the sharpness of Thibaut Courtois.
Let's say he's been out for a while, Courtois. Of course, there is no Lamine Yamal still injured. Would be the left-footed option for this free kick, so it's actually down to Rashford.
6 weeks is an absence. Yep, mid-March.
So it will be the former Manchester United player. Rashford!
I don't know.
Special goal from the Englishman, firing the ball into the top corner.
I don't know.
Wild scenes inside the Spotify Camp Nou.
Yes,
They're
okay.
closer to that La Liga title. That was a moment of magic.
Courtois might be guessing that he's going to go around that side of the goal, but aiming for the near post. But he wraps his
Mobile
foot
ያስቸግራል።
and throws it toward the top corner.
ፈቲ ወይ ፋፊ ያስቸግራል። ሞባይል ኢትሳ እንትን ቢሆን አሪፍ ነው። ዜን ወይም ደግሞ ሰዋ ቢሆን አሪፍ ነው። ሰዋ ኤስቲሲ ነው አሪፍ። ኤስቲሲ ኤስቲሲ ነው እንጂ ሞባይል ያስቸግራል። እምቢ አለን የሆነ ጊዜ ሞባይል የሆነ ጊዜ እምቢ አለ። ከዛ በኋላ አልሞከርኩትም። ለሆነ ሰው ሞክሬለት የሆነ ሰዓት እምቢ አለ። ከዛም ተውኩት። ኤስቲሲ ግን ይሰራል። ሞባይል እኔ ሞክሬ እምቢ ብሎኛል።
Barcelona win the league title tonight. There's a long way to go yet.
Raheem Diaz. It's away from a couple of Barca
Well, that was
players.
shut up.
Space for Vinicius. He's got 3 teammates in the box. They're asking for the start of that.
ምርጫ ያመጣል። ልትገዙ ስትሉ ምርጫ ካመጣ
Madrid do have a chance to.
ኢሞ ግፍት ላይ ገብታችሁ ልትገዙ ስትሉ ሞባይል የሚል ምርጫ ካመጣ ሊሰራ ይችላል። እሺ
Even this, the change of
ሞባይል የሚል ምርጫ ኤስቲሲ አሁን ለምሳሌ እኔ የሰራሁት በምን ነበር ነው የሰራሁት አላስታውስም። እኔ ስሰራ ልክ እንደዛ እንዳመጣውላ ሞባይል ብሎ ካመጣላችሁ ይሰራል።
threat that goes into the box. Bellingham's a threat. Rudiger's a threat.
እሺ
Pretty good set piece taker in Trent Alexander-Arnold. Whips that in towards the near post. It was flicked on by Gonzalo. Clever flick from the Real Madrid centre forward.
ሱዋሚኒ
Got rid of the underneath. Maybe a little bit warmer than he was anticipating. Again by Trent. It's the service stand that is asking questions and offering options.
ኩባርስ ወደ ውጭ አትወጣም እንዴ?
I'm sure Pedri should be marking any of those three, but that's his job.
More out swinging. Schwamini connects the header. Floats over the crossbar. It's another angle of that wonderful shot from Rashford right into the top. I think Courtois gets a fingertip onto it.
ምርጥ ጎል
Well, maybe not.
And to be fair, it's
ምርጥ ጎል ነው ያደረገው።
to his left. He's in the position where he's guarding, trying to guard both posts. It's just the quality. A few centimetres closer to Courtois, he may well have tipped it over the bar. It's just amazing free kick from Marcus Rashford.
Involved here in defensive duties. Pedri.
The irony is, if the medium arm been playing, he would have been on that free kick. At the left foot option.
See the points difference there in the live table. 14 for Barca was almost through. Their record difference for Real Madrid at the top of the table was 19 points back in the 2018-19 season with Ernesto Valverde as the manager. That season Real Madrid started with Lopetegui.
Lopetegui.
And they ended with Zidane. They could break that particular record. Still some way to go, however, to sealing this win. Raheem Diaz. He's got support from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Trent chips the ball in. Sent it away comfortably by Kouassi. Now there is some space. So Trent had bombed forward.
Camavinga filling in the right back position.
Rudiger. Chamini. Pressure from Gavi.
It's going to be a flash point between those two at some stages. It's going to be a rivalry that's going to go on for many a year. Both a similar age, both expected to be playing for Real Madrid for a number of years. It's fair to say they're not going to be friends.
It's good to see Gavi back. This is his first start in a Clasico since January the 25th, the Spanish Super Cup. Having overcome those two lengthy injuries.
Twice.
He's starting to get frustrated. And then the referees twice. That one was Olmo, but Gavi was also on the scene of the crime. Courtois.
ላይክ አታረጉም እንዴ እናንተ? ቆይ ዝም ብላችሁ ነው የምትቀመጡት?
He's given it away. So that definitely enters very well to track back and win back possession for Real Madrid.
I think Brahim Diaz is an injury problem as well.
Bellingham is lost out cheaply. Marcus Rashford makes
Yes.
up for his mistake.
ምንድነው የሚያደርገው?
Challenge. Brahim Diaz. Gonzalo. In front of him, but UFC was anticipating the move. It's not taking too long on the ball. Almost had his pocket picked by Vinny. It's quite fortunate there, actually.
I don't see an obvious foul. You see the handball from Cancelo. There is a bump after the two. I think this is where Brahim Diaz is playing against Cole. Hopping around for a little while after that.
QRC. Pedri lays it off to Fermin. Rashford does well to ride the challenge from Van der Veer. Slowly picking himself back up. Pedri. So a late push from Vinny on Pedri. QRC. Eric. Patience as ever from Barca. Fermin. Run is from Olmo, who leaves it for Ferran. Oh, it's Football Club Barcelona, breathtaking football. That's why they are running away with this championship. It's just simply too good for Real Madrid. 18 minutes into the game, it's 2-0. Looks like it could be a long evening for the visitors.
Incredible football all round the pitch. Goes in as a strike. It confuses Real Madrid. Rudiger does his best. There is a push there, but of course they've got the advantage. But when Torres gets on the ball, you're thinking, it's your first time. Has he got the confidence, which he didn't have a month ago, to take a touch and then find the corner? Barcelona are on fire in this game. It's going to be a tough evening for Real Madrid.
Well, it's another goal for Ferran. That's 16 now this season. How his finishing has improved over the years. I mean, he used to be a right winger who struggled to score goals, but something's clicked there. Now he's replacing Lewandowski as the starting centre forward for Barca. It's Vinny comes to Real Madrid on a much-needed attacking move. Brahim. Camavinga. Sentio. Now Terry, I suppose. Yes.
Visca al Barça y Visca Catalunya.
Those issues in the dressing room when things start going awry, 2-0 down. It's looking like it could be a pretty
ተኝተን ነው የምናየው ጨዋታ ዛሬ።
That's maybe one of those
Yes.
Yeah, and Barcelona
Yes.
might be the recipients of that. I mean, the teammates fight amongst each other. They'll be looking to be aggressive, determined against Barcelona. I talked about being defiant to stop Barcelona to win the league. Barcelona only need the draw, so Real Madrid now need 3 goals to stop Barcelona winning the title tonight. Barcelona scored 3 goals in pretty much every game up there. And that's goal 54 this season, game 18 in their home stadium, which has been 3 different venues. And they consistently average 3 goals a game.
One in for a single game at the Spotify Camp Nou in La Liga in sports this season.
And the Montjuic, you had them the training ground.
Fantasia. Vinny. Referee allowing the advantage after that late challenge from Rashford. Rudiger. Sergio Bellingham. See the celebrations inside the stadium there. Enjoying this convincing display from their team so far. Camavinga. Asensio. Fellow was making a run behind. It's a lovely ball from Asensio. Oh, through goal. It's got into the side. That was a chance for Real Madrid.
Straightforward. Garcia does so well. First couple of touches, he should score. I would question the starting position of Joe Garcia, which doesn't often happen. A ball like that over the top, he's not being around the edge of the penalty area, he's not being able to intercept that. I think that was the confusion and the doubt from Kavasi, Gerard Martin.
The hard part there was just controlling that ball and then taking it in his stride.
Under pressure as well. The defenders were all over him, trying to force him into making that crucial mistake, but certainly Barcelona got away with that.
Now it's Bellingham with a well-timed run.
Sprinting
to the far post. Bellingham looks for Vinny. And it's Eric Garcia gets him just in time. Well, this is the case with this Barca side, isn't it? That it's never a done deal, despite the being 2-0 after the way they play the game. There's always going to be chances.
Exactly, they're stepping up there. There's no pressure on the ball. Jude Bellingham runs from deep. It's a fantastic run. Very similar to the chance at the other end, wasn't it, when Frank Garcia cleared from Rashford at the far post. Same type of attacking play. The move from Real Madrid, they're not despondent, they're not down and out yet. They know, of course, it's hugely important if they can get the next goal. The game will have a different appearance.
A probing delivery from Trent. Chamonix trying to keep the move alive. It's a sprint on between Olmo and Camavinga, the Frenchman getting there before him.
Just catches him in the underneath of his boot, doesn't he, rather than the side of the foot or the instep. He catches him with the studs. You can see from his expression that when he gets that connection with it, he knows it's not going in.
Gonzalo Taragado.
Now set piece for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Try and whip in a thrusting ball. Drop to Chamonix. Vinny straight into Joao Cancelo's. Clever just putting his body in the way and forcing the foul. Gabby.
Gavi.
Ramos making the run. Early straight away indicating to him that wasn't going to need his services this time. Fermin. Kubarsi. It's a bit early for the Hammers to come out.
Pedri.
Pedri attacks the space.
Rashford. ለምንድን ነው ጎል ለምትመታው ግን? ልጆች አይሰጥም እንደ ሰውዬ ራሽፎርድ ለምን ነው ልጆች የማይሰጠው?
Those players in those attacking positions immediately respond by trying to win the ball back quickly. We've seen on a couple of occasions now, but Real Madrid have had time on the ball. They've got world-class players, Real Madrid. If you give them time on the ball, a high defensive line, it's going to be a problem for Barcelona.
Persistent play from Trent.
But they close it down. That was the example. They've given away the foul, free kick. There's 4 players knowing how important it is to protect your 2 centre-backs from pushing up to the halfway line.
Balón.
That's just football. Receive a talking to from Alejandro José Hernández. Press. Rudiger. Camavinga. Moving deep and playing it back to Courtois. It took a while. It was closed down by Pedri. Rashford. He has continued his run. So Rashford opted to recycle the move.
Ferran.
Good defending there by Eduardo Camavinga.
There's a pack of 8 Barcelona players there in the attacking half of their pitch. Real Madrid had possession. They know their 2 mates in the centre-back positions are not comfortable, so they really work hard. That pack of 8, they all know what they're doing. Out of possession. It's interesting to watch. Gavi's the deepest one. About midfield, Gavi, Pedri, Dani Olmo. No real obvious defensive midfielder because they press so high up the pitch. Positive pressing that's excellent by Barcelona.
Making them run into space. It's a blend, isn't it? The classic Barca model for keeping the ball, but the more incisive nature under Hansi Flick. You see those darting runs they're making behind all the time, such as this one from Dani Olmo. Plays it across the was offside.
Offside.
There is a bit more fang to this approach, isn't there?
There is, and it's not the traditional Barcelona 4-3-3, is it? There's a holding midfielder or two midfielders that can be a double pivot. Kind of under previous managers, they weren't allowed to play anything other than the 2 wingers, centre forward, 3 midfield players. Hansi Flick has got his ID on this team after the first time he took over. It's different. It's not majorly different, but there are nuances with this team now that are different to Barcelona teams in the past. But it's still recognisable as a Barcelona team. If I'm being honest, when I look at Barcelona, how it's playing, my criticism of Real Madrid this season and last season has been we're not sure where he's playing. I'm not sure where he's playing. I've got a back 4, I've got Vinicius on the left. I don't know where the rest of the midfielders are playing. I don't know what the potential is. I don't know what the plan is for the fullbacks. Are they staying? Are they going? Are they both going? Is one going at one time and the other one stays? Barcelona look finely tuned. unfortunately for Real Madrid, they're not.
I think the prime embodiment of that is Sterling. You never really know exactly what his position is.
I think he would greatly benefit from having a proper position in the team. He's an all-round dynamic midfielder, can score 10 goals, make 10 goals, and defend and stop 10 goals. He's box-to-box midfield player, and he will help. He's a wonderful footballer. His position in the team would be of more use if there was a plan for him, other than get us out of trouble.
Yes. Camavinga got out of trouble there. Pressed by Cavi in a delicate area on the pitch. Cynthia. Courtois. Fran Garcia. Bellingham. Come all the way across. And it was a move.
Definitely impact. I want to say positive pressing. I mean, don't worry about the player behind you. Some players, they look, they think, should I go and close that player down? No, I've got a player behind me. Once you do that, you're in no man's land. World-class players will play around you. So you just have to go and attack and close down that player ahead of you. And then trust your teammate to pick up the player behind you. Barcelona, they do it to perfection at times.
Really to take on Messi and Eric. Tramini on the edge of the box. Attempting to guide it into the top corner.
It comes up when they need to. This is, he picks him out. It's an attempt, hard to finish. He knows he can still generate the power. Just goes across his body and touch the ball, and he probably relied and therefore slides away from goal.
Ferran. Flick on for Gavi is intercepted by Tramini. Camavinga. Fran Garcia. Tries to win through the legs of Eric Garcia. Vinny. Drops to Tramini. Rudiger. Trent. Tramini plays the diagonal to Fran Garcia. Bellingham returns back infield. It's curling away from Trent, who just about keeps it in play. Now there is in behind again as being poked away from Tramini. He feels there should be a free kick for the contact, the attempt from Tramini, which slowed him down. Positive play from him. Fran Garcia. Picked up by Trent. Rudiger. Slight moment of panic there as Fran was breathing down his neck. Camavinga. Straight and Nancy flick. Fermin. Sharp turn. Good recovery challenge from Trent. Frustrated with a couple of those decisions, Fermin.
የጋሽ ሎፔዝ ልጆች ተስቸገረ በስራው ይገኛል
The hurdle that Lopez had to overcome. He's got a point. He movement, doesn't it? But there was no contact. No. And difficult for the referee to actually give a foul for. It could have been free kick. It could have been contact. There was. But it's interesting seeing Fermin Lopez play in that position. The tactics, the instructions from Hansi Flick. It's always strengthening behind Trent Alexander-Arnold, isn't it? Whoever's in that right back position, it's not always Trent Alexander-Arnold. Those runs in behind. I think Rashford might play out there, so it's a definite boy to play Fleming on the left, Rashford on the right.
He had some joy down the flank so far. He's opening 37 minutes. Here he is again, Fermin, running away from Trent. Again, he starts at a disadvantage, Trent, but he does well to make up ground.
You could argue he's just about getting away with it.
Playing a risky game.
He's not fouling. Good recovery defending. He's not making fouls, but you do feel a bigger touch at some stage from Fermin Lopez to not get out of his feet, to really get away from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Will be another problem for Real Madrid.
Beverly. Garcia. Didn't see any clear options upfield. Eddie Garcia. Ferran just like that. They've unleashed Marcus Rashford, who's through on goal. He has a look up. Saved by Thibaut Courtois. It could have been 3-0. It could have been a brace for Marcus Rashford. But Thibaut Courtois responds. Real Madrid needed it most.
Offside, he's in his own half, he runs from deep. He wins the race. But he's unlucky. It's a great save from Courtois. Gets that huge hand. It's even more comical with a big glove on it. Not easy to beat those big hands of Thibaut Courtois.
Wonderful with the shape did, that's for sure. It was wonderful for Barcelona back, wasn't it? He had Joan to Eric.
Under pressure, one touch from in behind. Smashing for Barcelona.
Drop to Oval. Takes his time. He slides it wide.
Jawaba.
Astonishing. He had so much time.
Very good, Jawaba. Hey.
Jude Bellingham gets out there, does his job to get out there and make him a block in front of Dani Olmo. Again, he slices it, doesn't he? Knocks it wide.
ጎበዞች ለፈርሚን ስጠው ወይኔ ይህ ሸፋፋ ልጅ ኧረ በእናታችሁ ምን ይቻል ነው
Rashford could have had a touch, I think. There's no rush to play that ball across the field. Moving his touch gets away from me, lunges in, doesn't he? Catches the ankle in the foot of Dani Olmo. Not intentionally, it was a cynical challenge. It was a challenge of desperation, wasn't it? To win the ball back. Now this game delivers, and it really does. It's games in La Liga, it's the Madrid derby with Barcelona against Atletico Madrid, the Clásicos. We never get a 0-0. We never get a stalemate. We get loads of goals. We get loads of attacking play. We get both teams, whether they're at home or away, going out to score goals. This game isn't done yet. It's going to be really tough for Real Madrid to get back in it to stop Barcelona winning the league by scoring 3 unanswered goals. But Real Madrid they've had their moments, Real Madrid. It could be 2-1. It could be 4-1. It could be 4-0. That's what I'm saying. These games, they just deliver. Brilliant footballers. Positive mindset from both coaches.
So much to dissect for them as well following those. So many subplots on throughout the game. As you say, I'm sure still a few more twists left in this tale. Rashford, that one's punched away comfortably by Thibaut Courtois.
Just needs to tighten things up again, Marcus Rashford, doesn't he? The last few touches, crosses, set pieces haven't been what we saw in the opening 25 minutes of the game.
Gary.
El clásico. Para arriba, claro. Three normal minutes.
Now forced back to Joan Garcia. So there's that run again from Fermin, but Thibaut Courtois is alert.
Chouamini.
Trent is caught by the Olmo. Doesn't seem to agree with the referee decision.
አልነካውም እኮ ራሱን የመጣው።
Actually, I was just going to ask you a question. Do you believe Dani Olmo? Does he look like he's telling the truth? Well, he was.
Fran Garcia. Bellingham, as he has continued his run. Come back. It's again to Bellingham. Camavinga. That's the other one asking for the offside flag. The move continues. Camavinga. Fran Garcia. He close stabbed at the ball. Clearance. He'll go to Thibaut Courtois. What point for maybe he was going to find Fermin. Rudiger. Final minute and a half of a scintillating opening 45 minutes at the Spotify Camp Nou. Olmo.
ምን
They kind of know he's there,
ሻምፒዮን
Fermin. Should be there, Fermin, though, because that's anytime they get it, the switch, anytime they get it down the channel with behind Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Chamini. First timer. Player taking just a little bit too long in possession and being hunted down by a Barca player. Rudiger. Anticipation from Eddie Garcia. Doesn't get the throw in, despite his request. Away from throw-in by Fran Garcia. Pedri swiveling away from Chouamini.
Lost me there.
Pedri,
Pedri.
Pedri.
Chance of Pedri from the fans. He's back on the ball. Coach Fermin. Rashford. 3 minutes of added time.
3 minutes added.
Guarci. Fermin see Pedri. The space for Joao Cancelo. Running at Trent.
የት ነው የሚሄደው?
Coming across to help out his teammates. Brahim. Trying to take on the world.
Real Madrid still look like they have the fight in them, don't they? They haven't given up the chase. It's a team, not a way that can't. They're not going to win La Liga, but they were up for the competitive nature of this and El Clasico. They're hanging on in now. I do fear if they concede the next goal, then heads might drop. They might become despondent. At the moment, the signs are Real Madrid are still in the fight. They still believe that they can get the next goal and then make life interesting in this match.
Cynthia got a minute and a half left in this first half. Trying to peg back a goal. Rudiger.
Problem is the bench is pretty bare, isn't it, for Almaloa tonight? Looking at the players missing. It's a lengthy injury list. Mbappe, Militao, Goulet, Rodrigo, Carvajal, Ceballos, Bondi, House now, Valverde. Round the game changes on the bench. The defenders, young midfielders. It's difficult. Mastantuono is the only attacking option that's
He's had a difficult first season
he's
at the
18
club.
years old.
Yep.
Big money, right? But it's the only attacking option they do have on the bench.
Olmo drives into the Real Madrid half. Brings the attack move to a halt. Pedri. Gavi, Eric. Fermin finds Joao Cancelo. Pedri. So Barca will just run down the clock. Pedri. Marci. And that will be that for the first half at the Spotify Camp Nou. Well, it's been two wonderful goals from Barca. A Rashford free kick into the top corner, then a wonderful team finished off by Ferran Torres, which is the difference between the two sides so
ካምባክ
far.
ሊደረግ የሚችል ጨዋታ ነው። ካምባክ ሊደረግ የሚችል ጨዋታ ነው። 2-0 በጣም ትንሽ ብዙ ማግባት ነበረባቸው። a lucky win for Arsenal. You know, Arsenal. Oh, what a lucky win for Arsenal. You know, Arsenal. Oh, it's so hard. But you did it. You what a lucky win for Arsenal. You know, Arsenal. Oh, it's so hard. But, you know, Arsenal. Oh, it's so hard. But, oh, what a lucky win for Arsenal. You know, Arsenal. Oh, it's so hard. But you did it. It's so hard. But you did it. What a lucky win for Arsenal. You know, Arsenal. Oh, it's so hard. But you did it. It's so hard. But you did it. What a lucky win for Arsenal. You know, Arsenal. Oh, it's so hard. But you did it. You did it. But you did it. You ተኝተን ነው የምንጫወተው። Composure, 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 composure. Where is? Composure, composure, composure.
Time. Holiday mode activated. Get and stay connected to DSTV.
ዘና ብለን ነው የምናየው። ተኝተን
Digital
ነው
world of amazing kids
ዛሬ
entertainment.
ፈታ ብለን እንዴ
Hundreds of battles fought across the continent by the princes of Europe. But history doesn't care who almost won. It only remembers the name on the trophy. One night to decide it all on the ultimate stage, 30th of May. Stay connected and watch DSTV to catch the UEFA Champions League final. It's on. Dare to bet with Barcelona. Register today and get bonuses for your first, second, third, and even fourth deposits. Make smart bets with Olympic Lyonnais and Barcelona.
Get us every day.
እንዴ ምን አባቱ ነው የጀመረው እንዴ?
In our lifetimes again. Other young midfield players, other young defenders. You're not looking to bring on David Alaba, for instance, to come on. Alvaro Carreras, possibly, if you want. I was going to say a more attacking fullback than Frank Garcia, but Frank Garcia gets forward. And he's unfortunate, Arbeloa, tonight. It's contentious whether he should have been manager in the first place. You can look at the damage that has been done by making the change from Xabi Alonso to Arbeloa. The damage was done tonight. 9th minute of the game, Marcus Rashford gets on the free kick. I didn't have that down. I thought he was going to go the other side of the wall. Into the inmost of Courtois. The movement of the ball is fantastic. Rudiger is the only one that's thrown himself into challenges, tracking the run of Olmo, trying to block the shot from Ferran Torres. It's been an outstanding first half for Barcelona. Near them, still focused, still determined.
Saw that referee's view of both goals with that camera, which referees have been sporting in some games this season around the year. You can also hear what the referee is saying to the players around the game, which gives you some interesting insight. And those Barca players are back out on the pitch. Rashford could have added a second had it not been for those big Thibaut Courtois hands, which diverted his shot behind for a corner. After taking a little bit longer in coming out.
Is that a good sign or not? Whether we don't know what's
know.
occurring.
Well, recently, Rashford's probably not been the nicest place to be in, so who knows what's going on inside there. But got a couple of players waiting to come out, Courtois, Chouameni and Antonio Rudiger.
I mean, even that's strange, 3 players out, the other 3 not there.
Are there those clicks in the dressing room? Are there some players keeping with their group, not mixing with the others? Who knows? Yeah, but they're all sort of dropping out one by one here, aren't they? Doesn't seem to be too much conversation going on either.
That's the problem. We're looking into everything now, aren't we?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Real Madrid haven't won a trophy. We're looking at all the stuff that's been going on in the last week, recent months.
It does seem silent though, doesn't it? Coming out away from home is your biggest game. It's derby away from home.
Even now they're not coming out collectively, are they?
You just don't see that sort of fire in the eyes, do you? Players. Again, as you say,
I'm sure it's there.
It could be a case of trying to read into things after everything that's happened in the build-up to this game. But it's a big 45 minutes for them, big 45 minutes for Arbeloa and his.
They had a huddle last week at this stage of the game, second half, against Espanyol when it was 0-0. They had a huddle, which is unusual for the second half. Teams do it before kick-off. But they had a huddle last week at the beginning of the half, and they were better, and they got 2 goals, and they won the game 2-0. They've not tried that tonight. I think it was led by Fede Valverde and Jude Bellingham. We'll see. And we're looking into everything regarding Real Madrid because the drama is there.
Well, the second half is underway. Let's see what kind of a response we get from Real Madrid and how Barca managed this 2-0 lead. Set us up for a fascinating 45 minutes of football. It's Courtois. It's his first touch of the second half. For the first time, he goes long towards Gonzalo. Hooks that into play. Guerci. Ferran. Pedri sprays the ball out wide to Rashford. Let's look around to see what the surroundings are. It's Garcia for company.
Wait, بس شفافة.
Vini. Germany clearly being held back by Dani Olmo. Rafinha's return to the squad. Warming up. Side to
Young Garcia. Eric Garcia, Kubarsi, Martin.
That's the difference in the first Clasico this season. They've been similar to Real Madrid this evening. Players missing a good strong starting 11, but no backup from the bench. And they certainly do tonight.
Spalle, Araujo, Lewandowski, Rafinha, Casado, Rudy de Jong, Bernal, Koundé, and the youngster Xavi Espan all on the bench for Barca today. Martin. Olmo helps the ball on to Rashford. Holds off Fran Garcia. He puts the ball in, which is punched away by Courtois. Fran. Intercepted by Eddie. Also continue to apply the pressure.
Fermin.
Fermin. Took a wicked deflection, which made life difficult for Courtois.
Eventually they found Fermin. I think Rashford should have picked it out at the first attempt at the cross. As expected, Courtois hasn't played for 6 weeks, but once or twice tonight he's made the saves, but not as cleanly as he would normally do. That was the one there, I think. Rashford has to miss out the goalkeeper, but Fermin was at the far post, completely unmarked.
Some complaints here from Rashford. Diaz perhaps is too close. Solo takes him away.
Keeping an eye on Frank Garcia and Fermin at the far post.
Rashford is deep, but it's headed away by Rudiger. And gets there before Vini.
Thomas.
Gavi. Rashford. Can't quite keep it under control. Looks like he's switched Maxwell. Was that him coming over for the corner? He's on the left now, Rashford.
Started at the right, didn't he? From the same stand that way. To be honest, well, that's what they do, isn't it? They rotate between Olmo, Ferran Torres swap positions at this moment in time. They were doing that. Now Rashford's going back to the right, Fermin coming back to the left. They're comfortable in any of those 4 positions in the attack for Barcelona.
Martin. Gavi. Into that pocket of space, which gives a little bit of time to think.
Kubarsi. João Cancelo.
Martin. To Joan Garcia. Ferran. Sergio snapping at his heels. It's necessary. Now it's kicking off. Picking the yellow card for putting the ball away.
Take 45 minutes longer than I thought. And it's opened up literally nothing. Sensio is going to get booked for running on the ball, finishing the chance. Whether he'll be booked for the foul or not, I don't know. There's a push in the chest. He's a big, strong, strapping young man, big centre back. He crashes down as if he's been floored by a punch. He gets ugly, he gets nasty, he could get spiteful.
It's the first suggestion of
Gabby protecting his teammates, as usual.
Bellingham coming over down the word with Gabby. That's indicated that maybe frustrations could start to boil over for Madrid in this second half. It's one of sloppy yellow cards to pick up for us. Sergio Olmo also picked up a yellow card for his involvement. He's also a fiery character.
He's got next to him, hasn't he, Sensio? He's got to be careful.
Referee keeping things under control. Yeah, I was going to say, would it be a Classico without one of those? Sergio. Just the ball down. He's into Fangavia. Chamini. Toppled over by Dani Olmo.
ኧረ የኦልሞ የሚባል ሰው ያስወጣው ፈልግ
It's going to change the position for Jude Bellingham. Brahim Diaz is dropping deeper. Bellingham is now being that run we saw in the first half.
There he is, they picked him out. See, he's able to control the ball. Jude Bellingham stayed down. They're screaming over for Jude Bellingham, yet doesn't seem to be moving. They're running on. I think he was quick to alert the referee.
And the Barcelona players.
Down, Jude Bellingham. Exactly clear what happened on. It's a good sight to see him sitting back up.
Claiming as an elbow, isn't there? Well,
See some blood, I think. Yeah, it's accidental for Bellingham. Yeah, but he's
no throwing at the elbow, is there?
he's caught there.
It does catch him on the nose.
That's a painful one for Bellingham. I think we'll be slightly frustrated.
I was concerned when a player goes down and they don't move.
You can see him not moving yet. And when you see the reaction from the players, that's always a bit of a giveaway. Good news is that he is back up on his feet with a bleeding lip. It's been an incident-packed start to the second half with coming together of Barca and Real Madrid players. Now the accidental elbow to the face of Bellingham.
Busy, hasn't he? The cut's dumped to this week at Real Madrid in the corner.
I was going to say, not the first stitches to be applied this week. He's come onto the pitch where the referee has to come on by the halfway line.
You can't use the excuses cutting across the pitch to get to the halfway line to then make an appearance from the halfway line.
It's a yellow card for Bellingham. Really, for not following protocol, he's being 2-0 down. There is no attempt to lose time, is there?
We can only assume that's not an elbow on purpose because you're in the penalty box. Yeah. You're throwing your arms into an opponent. There's only going to be one outcome, so it does have to assume it's a natural movement of the arm that just deflects off the face of Jude Bellingham. But what I was saying about his position had changed slightly. He was playing in a more advanced position. Raheem Diaz dropping deeper.
Through on goal. With the left foot, and it's another fine save from Thibaut Courtois.
Sorry.
He makes himself big, spreads himself out wide.
But that was tough about it.
The size of him when he does that, there's
Confidence.
it's not easy when you're bearing down.
Tough about it.
It's slightly
Real chance to Barca in this second half. To the near post. Disappointing as he can't get past Gonzalo Garcia. Fermin.
Yeah.
Fermin not quite on the same wavelength there. Portuguese player apologises to his teammates. Just played that wonderful pass outside of his foot. And did most everything right. Cuarcy. Acres of space for Eric Garcia. Continued his run forward, but he's been sandwiched by Gonzalo Cambia. Now Vinny could be away. He was on hand to provide cover. Garcia. Courtois. Setio. The long ball is running in the Gabi battle. Otherwise he has been wiped out. Vinny. Beaten by Cuarcy. That have taken it quickly. Made a hash of it. Fermin. Joan Garcia. And making the run. This time it's held in behind him. Courtois. Gonzalo. Vinicius. Chance to run at UFC. Not had many of these in the game. Raheem Diaz. Actually the ball drops to Trent. There was a chance there, wasn't it? Could have been a bit more incisive. Vinicius was going to try and get the shot, but they crowded him out, Barcelona players. From then on, Real Madrid probably could have moved the ball quicker. Rudiger. Asensio. Raheem. Got past Joao Cancelo. Used his arm to stop the Moroccan international in his tracks.
Cancelo እንትን አስወጡት።
Cancelo አስወጡት። Any situation that Barcelona have. brushes Ferran Torres into the finish. Courtois does the rest. Trent.
What a call.
Vinny against Eric. Schwamini. Trent, there are still 400 players in the penalty area. Raheem. Have to wait a little bit longer. Vinny. Cross does come in, and it's an awkward one for Gerard Madrid. Well, so it is for their footy player. Communication probably not the strong point then. It's going harmlessly through to Joe Garcia, wasn't it? Yeah, Barcelona under more pressure, improved performance from Real Madrid, more possession of the ball, looking more threatening. Can they find a result to the pressure that they're starting to apply? Certainly making a nuisance of himself at the near post. Schwamini getting in the way of Joan Garcia. Trent's corner into that area of Barca Real Madrid players, repelled by the defence. Drossitude Bellingham! Real Madrid thought that they pegged a goal back. It's offside, much like in the reverse fixture. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to look at because there's a number of players in an offside position, but of course he's Jude Bellingham offside. Yeah, he's one of 4 offside players from Real Madrid. Defensive line held in there, Barcelona. Get out en masse. Well drilled when the ball's played backwards.
Oh,
Down they go, they step up. They would have kept up Bellingham's remarkable run of goals in the Clasico fixtures. In these first substitutions from Barca, Marcus Rashford opened the scoring this evening. Come off for Rafinha. That's one that he'll talk to his grandkids about, I'm sure. Wonderful strike from Marcus Rashford. The other player coming off, Dani Olmo, was on a booking. He provided the assist for Ferran. Comes Frankie de Jong. Now this is where, as you've been saying, Barca have the upper hand. De Jong and Rafinha coming off on the bench, where Real Madrid don't have that strength in depth. Yeah, and Pedri and de Jong link up well in this situation. They keep possession well. I thought it was going to be Gavi being replaced around the hour mark. Now he's just been turned back to form, but the faith that Hansi Flick has in him, the trust he has in him to do this job, to finish off the job, that's a big leap for Gavi. You can see his link-up play with Pedri. Luis De La Fuente must be considering the option now of Gavi if he's back to full fitness. Yep. Playing regular again, he picked up the initial injury on international duty. Oh, and he's in behind. Garcia came a very long way. Managed to get
Goes
out
Garcia.
that flick from Vinny.
Ambassador Garcia.
Off the goalkeeper.
Wallah.
It feels a lot more tense in the stadium now, doesn't it? The fans know they're close. The players know they're close. They know the job isn't done. They're worried. They're concerned about Real Madrid getting a goal back and the game turning around.
You don't know
It
what
was as jubilant as it did in the first half when they pressed into that 2-goal lead. And again, the argument chances. Fairly simple balls. I would say the second half Real Madrid have been the better team. Bellingham. Gavi wins the aerial duel. Ferran got in the way of his teammate. Tackling them. Raheem. Oh, through the legs of Joao Cancelo. It's lovely from Raheem Diaz. That is brilliant defending from Gerard Martin. It could be due to Real Madrid. I mean, they've come out, they're having a go in the second half, aren't they? said lots of players missing. They're not going to win the title. They're not going to win a trophy for 2 years on the trot. But they're I like their spirit tonight, I have to be honest.
It's positive for Brahim as well, isn't it? Every time he gets on the ball, tries to run at defenders, tries to make things happen. Joan Garcia, Ferran,
Fermin,
Gavi,
Pedri.
Frankie de Jong was going to play in the more advanced role, wasn't he? He's leaving Gavi and Pedri together as the double pivot.
Fermin, he's the ball back towards Gerard Martin. Eric. Ferran. Now by Asensio. Fermin going on the solo run. Pedri.
Rafinha.
Rafinha introduced into the game. Bellingham. Rudiger. Diaz. That's got away from him. Pedri. Makes the challenge. Fermin comes
ይመታል
forward
ነው።
from Raul Asensio. De Jong. Rafinha. For a corner.
አንበሳ ይሄ ይመታል ነው።
Goes for the shot, good block from Raul Asensio.
Here's a defender who
ምን እዚህ ደግሞ
in check. He's aggressive and can be aggressive in the right way. Kick for Real Madrid, I guess, in the end. Schwamini.
22 minutes left.
He's the ball to Rudiger.
Vinicius definitely played more central than we saw in the first half.
Asensio. Camavinga. Pedri doing the pressing now. Camavinga. Obvious passes in front of him.
Rafinha.
Essentially ball across towards Brahim. Try and build Camavinga. This time the perfectly weighted pass for Vinny. It's got Garcia and Eric to deal with. It's gone down, but it's got nothing from the referee. Eric's not against any suggestion that there was a tug of the shirt.
He was hoping for more contact, wasn't he? This is
Peter.
The first change made by Arbelois Diao Bidark comes on for Camavinga. The youngster who's erupted into the team this back end of the season. Gavi. Fermin. He's there. Rafinha. The hit from Fermin. Rafinha doing well to keep the ball under control. Bellery. Kouarsi. Fermin's got João Cancelo out to the left. Cancelo. Fermin.
Fermin Lopez altakam.
Gavi. See a clear route to goal. Barca taking the long way round.
Yeah, this is what they needed to do, isn't it? Slow the game down. Real Madrid will send them to see more possession, more of a goal threat.
Taking the sting out of the game now. 20 minutes left. They're almost there. Rafinha. Ball drops to Bellery. Fermin.
Gavi sit bannate.
He's waiting for some movement. He's trying to chip that ball over the top towards Rafinha, but Madrid not holding on to possession for long now.
Dropped off a little bit now, Real Madrid, haven't they? If Barcelona had possession, they drop off, and it's quite comfortable for Barcelona to have possession.
It's a wayward pass from Gerard Martin. Gonzalo Arcia. The surprise factor disappearing from that move for Real Madrid. Rudiger. Fran Garcia. Trent. Schlamani's flipped it over. For him, Rafinha wasn't too precise with his first time ball. Bellingham. Vinny will let that one run out of play for a corner.
Yeah, Rafinha's been untidy since he appeared. Barcelona have been guilty of giving the ball away cheaply on 3 or 4 occasions. It's obvious what they need to do. When they keep possession, everything is an easy, simple, obvious pass. Draw Real Madrid out, but when someone tries to just thread one into an attacking player or Real Madrid are grateful to have that possession back.
Trent. Fast player got his head onto that ball. Tchouaméni and Rafinha at the near post.
Both touch it, don't they? Tchouaméni onto the head of Rafinha.
Exactly. Trent. Corner. Side. Last corner warming up for Real Madrid. What to deal with for Kouarsi. Trent going shoulder to shoulder. Dropped to the ground. The referee, careful consideration, blows his whistle.
Those two haven't heard it.
Going on as game had been brought to a halt. It's a potential head injury for Trent. There it is.
Yes, there's a hand on the neck, throat. Sure, you do that other than to stop a counter-attack. You're 2-0 down, you don't really want to be killing the clock, wasting time, slowing the game down.
Lewandowski preparing to come on. Just adding a bit more fuel to the fire. Garcia, the most most of that hesitation from a couple of Barca players. Brahim Diaz. Fallon just got a bit wide there as he was able to control the ball. Before the corner is taken, Dosky coming on, as will Marc Bernal. So it's Ferran, the other goal scorer, coming off. Another fine shift from him. Worst replacement in the world, is it?
No, that's good. Really turned around in the last 3 or 4 weeks. The criticism Ferran Torres was receiving was harsh. He wasn't playing well. Completely lost confidence. But suddenly he's found that confidence again. It's the usual story with a strike, which was the one goal. Somehow that flicks a switch on and you're back to being that wonderful footballer.
You know all about it, don't you?
And it's astonishing how quickly that confidence can return. Gabby, awesome tonight. It's been awesome since he returned. It's fabulous news to see him back playing healthy and fit again after such a long period out. He's only 21 years of age still.
Had a wonderful replacement also, Marc Bernal, who's also had his injury issues. Missed the whole of the last season. A severe knee injuries. Rafinha could be away here, but it's the rapid Fran Garcia who's providing that cover as the last man for Real Madrid. Fran by Rafinha. Well, they certainly produce a lot of players at La Masia, but the
La Masia.
central midfielders is never ending. With Marc Bernal coming through, there's Marc Gassalor, who broke through and has barely had a game recently. Vinny. It's persisting, but now it's Pedri. It's just not happened for him this evening.
Lights here, doesn't he, with Pedri?
It's unfortunate, wasn't it, but he did go through the Canary Islander and changes with Gonzalo. And Brahim coming off, Mastantuono. Surface and Palacios is coming on. Another player from the Real Madrid Academy who has profited from his former boss being promoted to the first team, who's shown confidence in that crop of players. Diarra. Rudiger. Fran Garcia, club renowned for having players coming through from the academy, but right now on the pitch in a Clasico, you've got Asensio, Diao, Palacios, Fran Garcia. There are 4 of them on the pitch now. I suppose for a Barca fan, I'll say 4. That's not that many.
Gonzalo Garcia went off, didn't he?
Gonzalo went off as well. For Real Madrid standards, that's certainly higher than the average.
Not too much choice for him tonight either, is there? The established players out there will bring on the youngsters to try and freshen things up.
Farbin still going at it. Rafinha was waiting for the through ball.
Fermin Lopez ግን ምን አይነት ኳስ ነው የሚጫወተው? በኋላ
Slow down the attack for Barca.
ራፊኒያን አይጫወተውም እንዴ?
Pedri. Bernal. De Jong. Diaz stepping out and showing a little bit of urgency. Trent. He's not too happy. Either to follow through or something said by Fabinho. Fall from Rafinha. Trent Alexander-Arnold, the yellow card. Brazilian turns in there. Rafinha, Vinicius, which has happened before in previous games. A silly motion from Alexander-Arnold. It does leave something on him. There's the dispute. Rafinha pushes him away. He's got enough to look him over. It's certainly not going to cause him pain. Brings attention to it to the referee. The referee probably saw it, but probably have issued the same punishment. Even if Rafinha hadn't come down. Card for both players. It's the second time that there's a coming together between Barca and Real Madrid players.
Tentative celebrations there from the home fans. It's getting closer. They're not there yet. That's that torn on.
De Jong wins that ball cleanly. Lewandowski. Rafinha. He's making these love-busting moves.
No,
Rafinha decided to finish it off on his own. Frustration of his Dutch teammates.
And Lewandowski as well.
Bernal. Yeah, bouncing in the stand there. 7 minutes away from retaining their La Liga crown.
No 7 minutes. Stop.
Bernal.
First time in the game now, there looks an acceptance from the Real Madrid players that they're not going to get back in it.
It's probably painful for Real Madrid fans to see that metaphorical throwing in of the white towel, but it does seem like they've accepted their fate.
Yeah, I mean, and it's under the circumstances with the players available, the players missing. Get to 80 odd minutes before the first time we've kind of recognised that they may be accepted now that I wouldn't say it's throwing the towel in, but accepting that it's not going to be, they're not going to get back in it. They're not going to get the win to deny Barcelona the title, that's for sure. 3 goals in the last few minutes.
Frankie de Jong, role that we're not accustomed to seeing. Lewandowski, straight at Thibaut Courtois.
ከፍ አድርገው እንደዛ አይችሉም እንደ እነዚህ ልጆች ከፍ አድርገው እንደዛ አይችሉም።
Slightly embarrassed there, Lewandowski did Emil Lopez is the obvious pass, but he goes for glory. Can you blame him? 37 years of age, 4 seasons at Barcelona. This probably is
Yes, I blame him.
has come off the bench.
እንደ ከፍ አድርገው ያመጣል።
A bit selfish, goes for goal, glances across the Fabinho and knows that they're taking on their chance. It has to be a goal. It wasn't. Then follows the apology.
He's got a certain status in the Barca hierarchy. Rafinha is overhit. Challenge from Frankie de Jong.
Great attitude from Frankie de Jong. He's found it hard lately. Since Gavi's come back, he's not getting back in the strongest starting 11.
ከፍ አድርገው መምጣት የማይችሉ
Attitude when he comes on. Exactly as you'd expect. Excellent player. Good power as well. Racing forward when he should have received the pass as well, should from Rafinha. A few months ago, he could play that defensive midfield role, as we've seen him now. His football IQ is good enough that he can play in that number 10 position.
After stretching. Trent. Good ball for Cesar Palacios. Could have been a memorable moment for the Madrid youngster.
anticipation on that finish. It's tough. For Real Madrid players to suffer, but it's not just about tonight. It's the rest of the games that they've played this
10
season.
minutes left.
Rafinha. Almost a pass from Rudiger. It goes flying in. Bargy with
Chasing it down, weren't they?
Yes, to pop. It's an inflatable ball that's flown onto the pitch.
Fancy flick, certainly getting on the players that have contributed. They've all contributed. Valde looks the last Barcelona subs. What's good there has been. Peter's introduced as a sub. Just goes to show, doesn't it? Just 3 minutes ago, they're now confident that they're not going to get 3 goals.
But that's a very Football Club Barcelona fan mindset. They are quite pessimistic in their nature. Quite the opposite of the Real Madrid fan who's very optimistic. I think they feel like they are home and dry now as Fermin comes off another formidable game from him. And it's Alejandro Balde who replaces Fermin. Now scream and celebrate with his teams in the dugout. Mastantuono. Asensio severely overcooked that pass. Joan Garcia. Dolski turns. Too sure which way to go. Couple of apologies and then passed it back to Gerard Martin.
Out of his comfort zone then, wasn't he? Lewandowski getting back up the pitch, getting around the penalty box.
Eric Garcia. Rafinha. Another wayward pass from him. Fran Garcia. Asensio. Garcia has Vinny timed his run. Who does continue. Then he passes it out wide to Rafinha.
He's been excellent in this situation, Pedri, isn't he? Making things just tick over nicely in midfield. It's not him that gives the ball away occasionally. Congested in midfield, but he's the confidence and the composure and the quality of Pedri stands out.
Slight lapse in communication there between De Jong, Lewandowski and Rafinha. Rafinha Miles got his shirt on. Ready to come out and celebrate. It's going to be another title for one of these players who are very young and feel got a long Barca career in front of them. Gavi 21, Pedri 23, Cubarsí 19,
Second title.
Lamine 18, Fermin 22. The backbone is there to try and establish a dynasty. Now the onus is on Real Madrid to try and turn things around as the full-time whistle goes at the Spotify Camp Nou. Football Club Barcelona are the 2025-2026 La Liga EA Sports champions, a 29th title for them. a 106th win in El Clasico. It's now 106 wins apiece in the history of this fixture. The upper hand goes to Hansi Flick and his men. Now come these celebrations. Ending to Terry what has been a fine performance tonight for Barcelona.
It's all about the fast start, wasn't it? And you never know what's going to happen. A nice sequence going across the Hansi Flick there. Sportsmanship behaviour. You never sure how it's going to play out. If Barcelona, if your players been too desperate, they come out and approach the game in the way that you hope. All the tactical planning. They flew out the traps and they flew out the blocks. 2 goals in the first 20 minutes of the game. Flew out the traps and they flew out the blocks. 2 goals in the first 20 minutes of the game. They were electric in their first 30 minutes of this game. It wrapped it up. But Real Madrid, as we know, they do fight back. They go to the very end. Barcelona couldn't have asked for a better start to the game. And they could have asked for a better end to the game. It's